Good morning, Virgo. That phrase just landed in you, didn't it? Not softly, not gently, the way a stone lands in still water, fast, heavy, and then rings outward, rings in directions you didn't expect. And somewhere in you, in a place that doesn't always answer to reason, something responded. Maybe it was warmth, maybe it was alarm, maybe, and this is the one worth examining. It was both arriving at exactly the same time, indistinguishable from each other, wearing the same face. That mixture, that specific, complicated cocktail of being wanted with intensity and the shadow that intensity casts, that is what we're going to sit inside tonight without rushing through it, without resolving it too quickly, without pretending it is simpler than it is. Let's start with the pull, because it's real and it deserves to be named before anything else. There is something in the human nervous system, something ancient, something that predates language and reason and self-awareness, that responds to being chosen with urgency. Not chosen politely, not chosen after careful deliberation, but chosen fiercely, chosen with the particular electricity of someone who says, I am coming, don't move, you are mine. That lands differently than a gentle declaration. And the part of you that it lands in, that deep, pre-rational part, does not immediately ask, is this healthy? It asks something older, something closer to, am I worth being pursued like this? Does someone want me enough to run? And that question, raw as it is, unflattering as it is to examine, is not shameful. It is one of the most human questions there is. The need to be wanted with heat. The need to matter enough that someone would move toward you without hesitation, without strategy, without the careful pacing that protects everyone from feeling too much. It's possible, tenderly possible, that somewhere in your history you did not receive that you were wanted quietly, if at all, that the intensity you craved was always slightly out of reach, offered in fragments, withdrawn before it became something you could hold. And so now, when intensity arrives in full, when someone says, I'm coming to get you with fire, in the words, the nervous system doesn't know whether to open or to run. Both responses make sense. Both are trying to protect you. They simply disagree about what protection looks like. But now we go somewhere more uncomfortable. No one else can have you but me. Hold that sentence for a moment. Just hold it. Let it sit in the room without decoration. There are two very different things that sentence can be. And the difference between them is not always visible from the outside. It lives in the interior, in the texture of how it's delivered, in the history behind it, in what happens when you test its edges. The first version, the one that is genuinely beautiful, is devotion. The kind of love that has looked at you, fully looked, and decided with total clarity, this is the one. Not as possession, not as ownership, but as recognition. The kind of love that says no one else, because it cannot imagine wanting to look anywhere else. Because you have become, for this person, the answer to a question they didn't know they were asking. That version is rare, and it is worth receiving when it's real. The second version, and this is the one I need to name carefully, is something else. It is the same words, but built on a different foundation. Not recognition, but fear. Not devotion, but hunger. The kind of claiming that dresses itself as love, but functions as control. That says you are mine, and means I cannot tolerate the existence of a version of you that I do not own. And the terrifying thing, the thing that makes this territory so psychologically dense, is that from the inside is less than #0. 5# is greater than. Both versions can feel identical. Both arrive with heat. Both arrive with urgency. Both make the nervous system respond in that ancient pre-rational way. The body does not always distinguish between fire that warms and fire that burns, at least not immediately. So here is the real question this night is asking you. Not do I want this person, not do I feel pulled toward this intensity. The real question, the one that requires the most honesty, when someone says you cannot be had by anyone else, do they mean they choose you, or do they mean they need to contain you? Because those are not the same thing. And you specifically deserve to know which one you're standing inside. Let me go somewhere that doesn't get said enough. There's a psychology, a very common one, a very human one, that confuses intensity with depth. That reads urgency as proof of love. That interprets I can't lose you as evidence of how much you matter, rather than as evidence of how much they fear. And it's possible, if you are honest with the quieter parts of yourself, that you have been in this confusion before, that you have mistaken the heat of being needed for the warmth of being loved, that you have confused someone's inability to let go of you with genuine connection. Those two things can coexist. That is what makes them so difficult to separate. A person can genuinely love you and also be driven by fear, can genuinely want you and also want to possess you, can be running toward you for reasons that are beautiful and reasons that are broken in the exact same stride. The question is not whether their feeling is real. It probably is. The question is, what does their feeling ask of you? What does it require you to shrink into, or expand into, or become, or stop being in order to be held by it? C'est étrange, mais j'ai l'impression que what might be most alive in you right now is not the question of whether they're coming. It's possible the more honest question is, do you want to be gotten? Not in the breathless surface sense, but in the full sense, in the, is this the person whose pursuit I want to receive? Is this the energy I want arriving at my door? Is the version of me that exists inside there wanting a version I recognize? Because sometimes we wait for someone to come for us. And when they do, we discover that the person they are running toward is not quite who we are. It is who they need us to be, the version of us that fits inside their story, the version that stays still. Don't move while they do the moving, and staying still is less than #0. 5# is greater than permanently, structurally, as a condition of being loved, is not love. It is a cage with warmth in it. Laissez-moi ralentir un instant, because I don't want to leave you in the dark of that. There is a version of this, a version of I'm coming to get you. No one else can have you. That is one of the most beautiful things a person can feel toward another. The version where the running is joyful, where the claiming is mutual, where you are mine is answered by and you are mine, with equal fire, equal freedom, equal choice, where the intensity does not narrow your world, but expands it, where being chosen fiercely makes you more yourself, not less. That version exists. It is possible. It is, in fact, one of the experiences most worth having in this life. And it's possible, as you sit with all of this, that what is moving toward you right now is exactly that. The real version, the mutual version, the version where the fire warms instead of consuming. But only you can know that. Only you, with your history, your instincts, your particular and hard-won understanding of your own patterns, can read the difference between the intensity that sets you free and the intensity that holds you still. And so I leave you with this. The question that asks the most is less than #0. 5# is greater than the one worth carrying into whatever is unfolding. When someone tells you not to move, what is the first thing in you that wants to run? Not away from them, not necessarily, but toward what? Toward which version of yourself? Toward which life? Because that instinct, that first uncensored pull, in the moment someone tells you to stay still, is one of the most honest things about you. It knows things your reasoning hasn't caught up with yet. Listen to it, not instead of your heart. With your heart, let them be in conversation, the pull toward and the pull toward something else. Let them both speak. Let neither one be silenced by the noise of someone else's urgency. Because here is what no one running toward you can give you. No matter how fast they run, no matter how certain they're claiming, no matter how electric the arrival, they cannot give you yourself. that was always only ever yours before they came. After they arrive, in the stillness they asked of you, and in the movement they couldn't stop,